back to more conversation with Chris Epps Presents on Hott 923.
And we're back here on Atlanta's Hot R&B station, Hott 92.3 on
iHeartRadio.
Since this was the weaker gathering, here's another one that we want to talk about. Take a listen.
Mr. Chambers, you want to give your name and your organization?
Gary Chambers, representing myself. I know how the political process works, so I know that most of what we say at this microphone doesn't mean much to you all as representatives. You've got a vote to make in order to do what you feel you need to do for the governor and your politics. But your state ranks number 50 in the nation because you continue to do these things. We rank number 50 in the economy, number 50 in crime. You can shake your head, Representative. Number 46 in education, number 44 in healthcare, number 48 in infrastructure, number 49 in natural environment. But you got time to take away clerks of court seats. Your priorities are jacked up, and your state continues to lose as a result. But you're proud. You're proud Republicans, proud conservatives. You're Reconstructionist. You're Reconstructionist, and it's racist. And every one of your votes reflect your moral character and the lack thereof. Now, I go to church just like you all. I don't know if we read the same Bible. Do good, seek justice, help the widow, the orphan, the oppressed, and the poor. Isaiah 1:17. Now, you can strip up the Constitution of this state. You can restructure New Orleans all you want, but you're losing even your own voters. Because last year, you lost every constitutional amendment you set out the Capitol. Every one of them. In your own districts. And you came back down here again, playing Jeff's game. Now he wants to be president. And some of y'all won't even be representatives following along with the governor. If you believe in local representation, like I know most of you truly do, you wouldn't be meddling in this local community. But it's a majority black community. And you don't do this anywhere else in the state, which shows it's racist. I don't need data to show me the history of Louisiana. Every legislature that has ever existed in this state has been under majority white control. And you still haven't found a way to get yourselves out of the bottom 10 ranking.
Damn.
Georgia beats you every year. Why? Because they don't have a problem with black people prospering. The government is a job farm. You all are opening up prisons in rural parishes to create jobs for your constituents and trying to take away Calvin Duncan's job in New Orleans, where he creates jobs for black constituents. The prosperity of this state continues to decline because you lack the vision to lead us forward. This is a waste of the voters' time, and I know you're going to vote the way you want to vote anyway. But I wanted to look you in your faces and tell you this is weak, self-serving, and cowardice, and you're Reconstructionists, and history will remember you.
All right, give it up for Gary Chambers.
Yes.
Out of Louisiana. And to give context to this story, so there's a gentleman by the name of Calvin Duncan that ran for a clerk of court, but he has an amazing story. He was elected by the people of New Orleans to serve as the clerk of criminal district court. His story is powerful, but he spent 28 and a half years in prison for a crime he did not commit.
Oh, wow.
Let me say that again. He spent 28 and a half years in prison for a crime he did not commit. In 2021, he was fully exonerated from the charges that he served 28 and a half years for. And then he ran for office in 2026 and won to be the clerk of criminal district court in Louisiana. And now the governor has put forth this legislation to take away the clerk of the court. So the position that he was forecasted to fill on next month, if this bill passes, it doesn't, he won't have a position that was given to him by the election of the people. The people chose him. They voted for him.
Right.
And this goes back to, and some people may say, why are you bringing it up, Chris? Because this is Georgia. You don't live in Louisiana. But going back to what Martin Luther King said. Right. that injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere.
Absolutely.
Right.
And what they are doing, and Louisiana has a history of political corruption and racism and misogyny, and ran by, the white supremacy. And for him to say that you guys have had years of this control and still can't figure out how to get yourself out of the bottom 10,
50.
That's it. So what do y'all do y'all lean into thinking that they are reconstructionists and this is racism as well, or do anybody feel differently or have maybe a milder perspective?
I mean, I don't know enough detail to say it, but I mean, it's clear based on the makeup of this organization that it's under white control. And if they are still at 50, then it's not working. Change. We got to change it up.
Absolutely.
So, you can get another group of white people, but
they got to do better.
They got to do better. 50? Oh, my God.
In the top 10. And they're in the bottom 10, I'm sorry. Bottom 10 for everything across from economics to crime. And one thing that he said in there is about how they are building prison in these rural areas to provide economic economic stability for the rural communities, but they are taking away from the inner city and making it more of a crime-driven area to put them in these private institutions, and then voila, you have another form of recreation of slavery. But I digress. Go ahead, Josh, what you say?
When them pilgrims landed over here in Williamsburg, Virginia, their concept of America was that each state would be number one and equal, and everybody would be the same minus the slaves they were going to steal and bring over here and force to work for them to build the country for free. So the fact that we have a 1 through 50 means that we have 49 problems. So that goes back to you saying we in Georgia, but we talking about that because there's a bigger picture. Like, we have a lot to clean up. And what's horrible about it is when you become involved in economics and financing, you gain an understanding to know that there is enough, we ain't even got to be equal, but there is enough resources in America to where nobody has to be poor.
Exactly.
It's just not deviated right, and it all boils down to a matter of greed. But
greed and capitalism, greed. and unfortunately, we are a capitalistic society, and that's what's driven right now. Under the administration that we are under, is driven by is driven by economics, right? To give the tax cut to the top 1%, which are the billionaires, and then everybody else has to pay for it.
Right.
That is the epiphany of what we're talking about.
Now, I appreciate what he's trying to do with them taxes, because I owe a lot of money, and that's going to help me out. Now, I'm just say that for it. Now, I don't like her, but I mean, thing kind of worked for me.
But I lean into it. I hear you, and I know you have a level of humor and sarcasm under what you're saying. But in all fairness, there are people who genuinely feel like that and authentically feel like that, and feel that's why they support this administration. But I can't.
Oh, I don't put that on.
I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying that's one of the
down
things
with the orange man.
That's one of the things I cannot overlook for the egregiousness that happens along all the other lines. I'm sorry, like misogyny, racism, all the things that we experience, and that's just the tip of the iceberg with this administration. So, listen. When you know better, you do better. People, make sure that you're staying involved in your local elections and making sure that you're paying attention, because racism and systemic racism is real, and this is just another form of it. Mm-hmm. So keep it locked on Atlanta's Hot R&B station, Hot 92.3 on
iHeartRadio.
Coming up next, we have the Sunshine Report. Woo! She doesn't make the tea, she just does what?
Boils the water.
We'll be right back after these jams. Keep it locked.
We'll be back.
I love the talk shows. I love the interaction.
You're in conversation with Chris Epps Presents on Hot 92.3, your urban adult contemporary radio station.